It's another blood-soaked midnight hour all across Innsmouth Hive with scattered reports of slasher gangs and splatter fiends loose across all sublevels. We here at 665.66 UHMR Chemrat Radio are riding out the chaos with Frank here at Frank's Rucka Truck, your number one supplier for black market weapons. And don't forget to dabble a little bit in those rat meat chimichangas.
I love them. They taste like bullets and rat.
Greasy.
As the witch's hour fast approaches, make sure to stay well away from the Arbati substations, as they will not hesitate to toss you onto the body pile just as fast as those murder ball refereed masked psychos. I am your neon mohawked plasma freak Goblin King here with my power sledge maniac Marky.
What's going on, everybody?
Our autocannon toting beast.
Hey, everyone.
And last but certainly not least, our crack-eyed, hotshot, lasgun-loving Kevin.
Pew pew, motherfucker.
All right, guys, this is Lorus Obscurus, episode number 2, the horror of chaos. And we wanted to start this episode off by devoting mandatory podcast fuck-around time to getting into one of the cryptids, one of the spooky dookies we talked about last time around. Spooky dookies, I like that.
Spooky dookies.
We're not going to call them cryptids anymore. They're spooky dookies.
Scary shit. It's a spooky dookie. It's the PG version of scary shit.
Let me tell you, I've had a few spooky dookies. Generally after eating something sketchy.
Rat meat chimichangas.
And it did come back to haunt me.
You guys ever have those ghost poops where you take like the fattest shit in the world?
And it's gone?
Yeah, and you get up and you're like, I want to see this fucking bastard. And you
it's
look down and it's gone. You're like,
it's weird.
What came out of me?
Dude, that is the weirdest
Ghost
thing. When
poop.
it's like massive.
Or a ghost went in you,
Oh yeah, it could have been
Right?
a ghost doodle.
right?
I
Sounds
mean,
like some Jack Black.
I never had this, so I don't know.
You've
So
never had a ghost
There's
poop?
always a turd when I turn around.
I'm with Tom. I've never had a ghost
I've
poop.
never pooped and
So
not
never had a
been
ghost
not
I
in a
swear,
poop.
it's like Bigfoot. I caught a glimpse of one of these ghost poops, and people were like, "What are you talking
the
about?"
glimpse?
So what it is it's when it's essentially a floater
Yeah.
that gets behind the tube and it floats up, because you know how the back of the toilet is kind of like that.
Man, you
weird-
must shit that thing out with like a good amount of force for it to
Yeah,
like
dude.
go.
No,
it
was like a
dives.
long
It's all
one.
dive.
Yeah, so the buoyancy on the back end is what brings it up the back side of the toilet.
I
So
don't know,
like
man.
you're taking,
I don't
you know,
know.
you're taking your deuce,
Yeah.
and it's coming out, and you know how sometimes like there's like a long one,
Yeah,
right?
it's like a Loch Ness, the ones that stick out of
yeah,
the...
it's like one of those.
It's the one
a
that sticks
peeker.
out. Yeah, it stands up and it's just kind of.
I don't know.
like
I don't know
Loch Ness.
how much our podcast community is going to appreciate the like 20 minutes of shit talk.
You guys never.
How dookies happen.
But then essentially,
speak.
but essentially,
Dookie.
it's
There's
coming out.
there's
It's
been
so
dookie
long
out.
that it doesn't break apart
Yeah.
and float on its own, so that it gets down in the little tunnel, and then when you finally pinch it off, it floats up the tunnel. So
Yeah.
I got a glimpse of the tail end wagging its way back up.
I
there.
never realized
And that's
that.
how I
Must have
figured
jumped
it
up
out.
so quick. He's like, "I'm gonna catch you this time."
I mean, pretty much.
So I was gonna make a comment that one of the podcasts I really like, they used to do creepypasta episodes where they'd read creepypastas.
I love, dude. Because some of the creepypastas are like legit scary.
What
Dude,
the
there's
fuck
one
is
that's like-
creepy pasta.
so
It's it's an internet.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
so creepypasta is actually something that I was actually introduced to recently. Reddit has them, and what they are is
pastry.
no. So what it is it's like stories of people writing little like not journal entries, but
Really
basically like
short, like really short stories. Like
it's
a
just people
single
writing
paragraph.
about like, and like some of them about their experiences.
Okay.
One of them that will like stay with me forever was it's this dude who was writing about being like a fire rescue or a rescue person in like the wilderness.
Right.
And the stairs. He would say that they'd go out there sometimes and like there would be like a set of stairs that go nowhere. And like everybody knew about it. Like all of the rescue people knew about it. And they're like, yeah, just don't go near them. And he's like, you're going to see them from time to time. Just don't go near them. And he's
From
like,
time to time.
yeah,
this
no,
is-
that's
Like,
what I'm
there's
saying.
just
And so
weird
he like
stairs out in the middle of fucking
yeah,
nowhere,
there's just this
all
like
over the
set of
place.
stairs, and like sometimes they look brand new.
Oh, that's easy. It goes to hell.
Well, it goes,
It's not
but
a
they go
stairway
up.
to heaven.
They don't go down. They go up.
Yeah, it's an illusion.
Yeah, but-
you're going to hell.
So that was the thing is like he basically wrote like he's like he would write like a paragraph about like this experience,
Right.
and then people were like, "Whoa, tell us more!" And he'd tell more stories, and like some of the stories was like they lost a kid, couldn't find him for weeks, and when they did, he was on the side of a cliff, but like he'd only been dead an hour. you know, and they were like, and he was like, he's like, that'll stay with me forever. And like, it's just little stories like that. Yeah. And creepypasta is about that. Like there's one about like a show that this guy saw when he was a kid and people started dying. And then he comes back to town and the kids are seeing this television show again. Like it's little like scary stories, similar to like, you know, the book, like the Scary Stories books.
Yeah, the mini series.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's told from people's like perspectives on Reddit. Like they just post these stories from their perspective.
They're kind of like blog post style stuff. So
they're
like
fantastic.
It's interesting you bring this up. I'm trying to get them to share some of their stories, but I have a friend who works in mountain rescue, and there's been a couple of little hints dropped, and we've talked about the 411 the missing 411 before. So if you guys don't know what the missing 411 is, there are a lot of strange disappearances in national parks and wilderness spaces in the United States. And it's stuff like Tom alluded to it.
Yep.
Kids will go missing, or not kids, people will go missing, and they'll find them in places and situations that they couldn't have easily reached, very close to where they disappeared, but like 35 feet up on a hill, and they've been missing for 2 months, but they look like they've been dead for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Like one of them was like this dude was found like 10 miles away on top of a mountain, and he had drowned. Yeah. But he's on top of a mountain. There's no water. There were no floods. Like, you know what I mean? It's like shit like that. Like one of them was they had found this kid who he said that he had only been gone, like lost for like an hour, but he'd been missing for 3 days. You know, like, and the kid's like, no, it never turned night. Like, and they were like, well, how did you find your way back? And they're like, oh, the hairy man took me. Oh, and they're like, who? And they're like, oh, it was a really hairy man. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, what the fuck? Like, Bigfoot. Yeah. Well, and that was like some talk, and like some of them were like, oh, I've seen it. It's actually a person, you know, like, and it's in all these different spots throughout the US. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. It's gnarly. Like,
and there's all sorts of like, theories and stuff that it's Bigfoot. The Wendigos come up a lot too.
Skinwalker is one.
Skinwalkers. The Dark Watcher comes up.
Yep.
So we wanted we covered the Dark Watchers a little bit. We hinted at the Dark Watchers a little bit last episode. So went ahead and did a little bit of investigation into what the Dark Watchers are. That's referring
to the creature that I saw.
Yep.
The Shadow Man, as I called it. Yeah.
Oh, I remember where I was going with. Okay, so this podcast that I listened to, last podcast on the left, they used to do creepypasta readings. They would just find creepypastas, like Tom was saying, on Reddit, and they'd go through them, they'd find good ones, and they'd read them. And they got to a point where they started calling them like spooky spaghetti. Yeah, like they started coming up with different like ways of saying it. So spooky dookie. I like
spooky dookie because it's like a play on scary shit.
Dookie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is our spooky dookie segment.
This is our spooky dookie segment. Yeah. So the Dark Watchers, known by the early Spanish settlers as Los Vigilantes Obscurus, are a supernatural entity, sometimes referred to as a cryptid, that is largely seen in the Santa Lucia range of mountains on the central Californian coast. They've been reported for the last several hundred years, going back to the time of the early Spanish missions. Although they are most often seen in the Santa Lucia range, they have been seen all over Southern California, as well as sightings in Wisconsin and Illinois.
Do you guys remember in school being kids, some of us around the right age, making missions?
Yep.
Yeah.
You remember that?
That was my first like wargaming terrain.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my first terrain piece, and mine was awesome.
Yeah, same here. I got like that texture paint from Home Depot.
Yep.
I got a whole bunch of that shit. Spackled the shit out of that.
I just felt like bringing that up. I was like, I remember making a mission.
So I remember being really creeped out whenever I went.
Yeah, we started talking about that, and that was like a huge thing too. Was like they would have missions where they would just be abandoned.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like. I watched a movie the other day called The Nun, which is
it's one of the
sounds like could go a couple different ways.
Dude, I fucking love The Conjuring.
So that's why I was watching it. I watched all of them, like the La Llorona and all that stuff.
Llorona.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that, but because the new one's coming out. But The Nun, there's this like church, but it's a castle, and like one of the nuns like kills herself.
Right.
And they were like, what is this heresy? Like, it was very like, it reminded me a lot of like they were like, we need to go investigate this. This cannot be allowed. Like, and it was like heresy, you know, but it was all about like releasing this demon.
Yeah.
Very, very early 1900s, like tail end of Inquisition thought, Catholic Church. Really, really cool movie. Anyway, sorry. Very cool movie.
Yeah, but like it's interesting because like they hit that key, you know, where it like brought me back to like learning about that stuff, like when I was a kid, like and the missing, you know, people and sediment. So what's that settlement on the East Coast? Roanoke, yeah, Roanoke, where like just everybody was gone.
Oh shit!
You ever heard about the Roanoke?
Yeah.
Somebody carved Croatoa into a tree, and then the entire settlement went missing.
Yeah,
What is Croatoa?
It's just something they carved
There's
into a tree.
Trying to break into the room right now.
Fucking spooky dookie.
100% a great time for your kid to be messing with
no, that
us,
is
Mark.
not. Is it the cat? Ladies and gentlemen, this is like actually kind of scary right now.
Legit spooky dookie.
So we have
It's gone.
So we legitimately have in our studio an air conditioning unit with a tube going through a doggy door. And literally right now, as we're speaking, something sounded like it was trying to come through the doggy door where this tube is. And so Mark is investigating this right now. This is legitimate. That legitimately got my juices
A
going.
little creepy, yeah.
Mark, you're too young.
He's come back to the microphone.
Mark, now that you've come back from your expedition to the scary side of the garage.
Yeah.
Dude, I was getting, dude, it was creeping me
There's
out.
a reason I have goosebumps though. So we have an AC unit in
I
our
just
in
explained.
our garage, right? And it has
In the
like
studio.
it has like one of those slinky
Tubes, yeah.
tubes.
Going out
the
the
cat door. Yeah,
That-
dog door.
Right, that was the tube
Yeah.
expanding for no reason.
Oh, there's a reason.
You know, I have a feeling someone was probably pushing on it.
What?
I'm
Los
probably an animal.
Vigilantes
Yeah.
Oscuros.
Like one of those, a nun from the Mission de los Santos.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy.
You know what
it
it was? It was a chupacabra.
Yeah, the chupa thing.
Yeah.
It's a fucking
Yeah,
thing.
it freaked me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like pulling it back in. And I'm like,
So there's
I
our.
didn't do this.
I was gonna say there's our subject for next time. You had brought up old abandoned missions. I'll do a little bit of research on old abandoned missions.
Yeah,
What do you guys
because
think?
I want to know why I was creeped out by them so much.
Hell yeah!
As a
All right,
I
so
think
yeah,
it's part of the, like, this is supposed to be a religious holy place.
Yeah,
and it's not
But
anymore.
it's creepy.
it is
Like
super
when it's
creepy.
abandoned and stuff.
Yeah.
Like abandoned churches are just weird.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You find that the holiest of places are oftentimes the scariest.
I know, right? It's fucking weird, right?
You know how much I identify with that not being.
I'm sorry. now
So-
I'm completely focused on the door.
I know. I can't stop looking over in that corner.
If fight or flight is kicking in.
I know. I'm just gonna go run into the door next
Right?
time it happens.
Yeah. I'm expecting something to like grab my hand through that dog.
Uh,
I know. That's why I was like,
And then you find out it's your wife fucking with
oh
us.
my god, dude.
I am pretty sure that it was the kid pushing on the other doggy door.
Yeah. Well, he just never done that.
I was looking at it right now. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was looking
Kevin
right at
ran
that doggy
away.
door. It wasn't
Yeah,
moving.
like something was moving,
We've
right?
got the
Nothing was
Nothing
moving.
was moving?
It
We
was
got the
completely
science.
from the side door where the vent's going out.
Yeah.
we got
So,
the
sure.
science side
Yeah,
of
positive.
I
100%.
totally thought it was something
Reddit
pushing against
later.
Nope.
the block in that other one, and it was flexing.
100% was watching it the whole time. It was coming from the outside.
I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty creepy.
It
probably just
probably
saying,
it's
this place-
probably a temperature
This
differential.
place has got like
When you said
temperature
there's a
difference,
reason for
get out.
that, that's
I've
totally
never-
what I was thinking.
I've
I
never
was
had
like,
any,
oh yeah, temperature
you know what?
flex.
Actually, just to kind of,
Can I finish?
yeah. finish what you're saying, right? Before I go,
No, that costs extra.
before I go on.
Hey, we just had a legitimate, like possibly paranormal.
No,
activity.
that was actually-
that's true.
That was spooky.
That was spooky dooky.
That was spooky dooky as
So yeah, good. So you know
No, that was just Tom.
That was just
That was just
that was spooky, but it wasn't, or that was dooky, but it wasn't spooky.
that was a soupy dookie.
So you've got something related to what just happened. Yeah, guys. So we just did. Here we are, Lorus Obscurus 2. It's our second fucking horror episode where we're gonna talk about scary shit and like ghosts and crap, and something
We're
ghosty
sorry.
happens.
Don't listen to this before you go to bed, you motherfucker.
100%
Yeah, no, like,
listen to this
legit.
before you go to bed.
Like, Bear Necks, don't do it, dude.
creepy.
Yeah,
I'm
legit.
still looking
Yeah,
over there.
legit. I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I can't look away
I
from the
can't
door.
not look over there anymore.
Yeah, Tom is staring at it like he's gonna beat the shit out of me.
Yeah. Well, now I'm like, all right, if it happens again, I'm going to go charge at the door and kick the door and see what happens. That's what we'll see next. All right. Continue.
Yeah. What's your related story to the thing that just happened?
Well, not so much related to it, but when I first moved into this house, so the house, the way it works out is when you walk in, you either go left, and that's the normal layout of my house, or you go right, and there's stairs that go down because I live on the side of a hill.
Right.
There's stairs that go down, and it's almost like a sub level of the house.
It more like a basement.
Yeah, it sounds creepy, but it's not really creepy.
Yeah.
It's stilts.
It's a stilt house.
I don't know what that is.
Is it a stilt house?
Yeah, the house
It's
is
more
up
or less
on like
stilts.
big posts, right?
It is.
So yeah, it's on stilts. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
It's a stilt foundation.
So when I first moved in, my sister, she's always been my sister and my grandma were always kind of like not into, but like sensitive to paranormal stuff. Like they've always.
Do you have any Santeria in your family? Not Santeria. What's it called on the West Coast?
No, it's that.
Okay.
It's that. Like
I'm literally not looking away from that door right now.
I'm glad you are, because I have my back to it.
Yeah.
And this is not how I
All
normally.
right. So what you were saying was when you moved into the house.
Yeah. So when I first moved into this house, my sister and my grandma is deceased. So, but my sister is very sensitive to like paranormal stuff, or she always says that she has been.
You moved in your deceased grandma?
No.
She was alive at the time.
Speaking of, I'm just saying that
most people leave their deceased at a graveyard.
she's underneath the house.
You're like, when I first moved in with my deceased grandma,
And we're wondering what just happened to the door. Great.
Hi,
Thanks.
Grandma.
Perfect.
she's like,
What's up,
can't
Grandma?
do it.
She's coming in here to beat you with her spirit
You're
chocolate.
thinking
She's like, how do you not know shit about missions?
I raised you.
Hey, motherfuckers, as a pagan, I'm like, man, this is getting a little sacrilegious in here, okay?
So, but when I first moved in, again, just speaking for my sister, she's always been sensitive to like paranormal, or like she
Just
has
like
like
my buddy.
dreams and foresight.
Yeah, just
stuff
like my
that.
buddy on the last story, my friend, yeah.
Exactly. And when I first moved in, I obviously brought her for like a what do you got, like housewarming or whatever the fuck it is. When she came in, she's like, oh, this is a really nice place. And when she went downstairs, she's like, oh. And I'm just like,
You're like, God damn it, what?
What? You better be telling the alphabet. There better be another
yeah,
letter
she's
coming
just
out of
like,
that.
you don't feel that? And I'm just like, no. What am I supposed to be? She's like, well, I think you should like
Sage the house?
yes, I think you should
spirits or some
sage the
shit.
house. And I'm just like, why? She's like, well, I feel like there's something coming, and it's of course my daughter's room. Because it is the furthest room all the way down the hallway, and like that room when I first was looking at the house was, I think, like a grandpa's room, because it was, when you walked in, it was a giant bed, and when you looked against the wall opposite of the bed, it was a bunch of shelves that had a bunch of like boulder hats, and like it was just weird hats, like old people
stuff. You can just tell.
Yeah, and I was just like, what the fuck? It's kind of weird. Almost like a grandma that has like the dolls on the wall. This dude had hats on the wall, kind of thing. I actually have a doll story. I'll tell it later.
Fuck dolls.
Yeah, please no.
Yeah, please don't. But yeah, my sister, that's mainly the story. Like nothing happened after that, and nothing has happened since.
Yeah.
But she's just like, you should sage the house.
Did you?
No.
Oh, now it's coming after us.
Now
All these
now
years,
it's
it's pissed off at that air conditioning unit.
Hey, whatever, old man spirit. I like bowler hats. Don't
I
fuck
like
with me.
bowler.
I think bowler hats are cool.
was just creepy.
I have one myself. Don't fuck with me.
It was just creepy. Like I've never seen a it was almost like a little old timey room. It was weird.
Yeah.
Actually, it's kind of weird because in that room, I have a broken window that happened a couple months ago. But
From
I
a
told you
bird?
guys,
A bird,
but it was
yeah.
from a bird. Yeah.
And they say that
happened
is
downstairs and upstairs.
What's that?
The bird happened on both upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this
Yeah, it
place
happened
in
on my
Fern
kitchen
Gully,
window.
man.
Yeah, it happened on my kitchen window and happened on.
That's why
my
I'm like,
daughter's
it's
window.
probably an animal outside because it's Fern Gully out here. Like I've
Yeah,
had
I know,
snakes
right?
crawl
So
across
it's probably
my feet.
something rubbing up against the
Yeah,
heat.
exactly.
Yeah. Probably a possum.
But
or
if
some
there's a
shit.
fucking possum that's gonna come inside here, we need to fucking stomp it out. You know.
Possum's going to come
absolutely.
inside here. Possums are actually apparently really nice.
Yeah, you can actually go and like.
Is that the address?
It depends.
Why did I say that into the microphone? Is that the address?
Force of habit.
Possums can be nice or not
there's
nice.
You can actually like pick up a possum and they won't bite you. Like
What?
I've seen
because
possums
they play dead.
Well, yeah, but they're more about showing their aggression.
Right.
I've had a possum sit there with his mouth open and I've like stuck my hand in its mouth. Like it doesn't. They don't.
No shit.
Yeah, they don't bite down. They're not aggressive. The only ones you got to worry about is if they have rabies. Those are the only ones you got to worry about. But
Because they are aggressive.
and they will bite. But you know that way ahead of time because
because it's coming after you.
Yeah, exactly. They'll come after you. Whereas like other possums will just kind of sit there and be like, "What?" And then they'll either play dead or they'll open their mouth at you.
Don't touch my butt. Don't touch my butt.
I've had nothing but unpleasant possum experiences.
Oh shit.
I've had nothing but good
throughout
ones.
my life, which I don't like. I'm not glad that I've only had sad possum experiences.
Sad possum.
I mean, there was one where it was trying to kill my chickens, so I had to defend my chickens. Except that one didn't go according to plan, so the possum didn't die a quick and painless death like it was supposed to. And then there was another one where it was eating my dog food and chasing my dog around, so we had to chase that one away. But that was it was like as big as a dog.
Which is weird for possums. I'd expect that from raccoons.
It had like the body the size of a basketball. It was fucking ridiculous.
So I was washing dishes. Here's my possum story. So I'm washing dishes one night at the old house I used to live at. Old creepy
Spooky possums. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, kind of an old creepy house. It was a cool house, but it was an older house, old ranch style house. And I'm washing dishes and I see, the dogs just come up to the window and they're all happy. And I'm like, oh, good. The dogs are happy. Whatever, This cool. And I hear this like kunk noise. And I look over at Piper, my old dog, and she looks up at me. She's just got a fucking possum hanging out of her mouth. And the kunk noise was her teeth sliding across its skull. And she looks at me, wagging her tail, and goes, bleh, and the possum just goes splat onto the deck. The possum's not moving. Like the possum looks like it is not playing dead. It looks like its spine is severed or something. Like it's definitely alive, but it's incapable of moving. So I go and I get my 45 to deal with the possum.
That's a little aggressive. That's a little aggressive for
not gonna lie, possums are harder to kill than they should be, so that is fully appreciated.
Let me rewind the story. So first, my roommate took the BB gun outside to shoot the possum in the head. That's what I did.
It doesn't work.
And it just bounced off the possum's skull.
Yeah.
Then I went and got ridiculous. The 45.
It's ridiculous. Possums are incredibly durable.
22 might do it, right?
I didn't have a 22. I had a 45.
You don't have a 22?
There was a measure of extreme escalation. There was a pellet gun and there was a 45.
I went and grabbed my hand cannon.
I didn't grab my pound of C4 explosives.
Hold on, let me call in an airstrike on this possum.
Just chop its head off. That's all you gotta do.
You got a shovel?
I mean, yeah, that probably would have been a better idea.
Think that? Like, I remember
get to mine with a shovel.
The shovel was somewhere in the garage. The 45 was on the. There was a reason the 45 was more accessible.
Yeah, hold on. Which is a whole new story.
Being Merca.
I mean, you're gonna put
the reason being Merca.
No, so I first made sure that the possum wasn't playing dead. I let the possum sit for like 5 minutes.
I mean, even if it wasn't, I would have still.
No, because if it's gonna get up and leave, it's gonna get up and get. But it was pretty obvious. It was pretty obvious. Piper had like severely damaged it to the point where it was never gonna function again.
Yeah.
So when I knew that it wasn't really moving and it was just kind of like laying there gurgling, I'm like, let's just put it out of its misery as fast as possible. So anyway, yeah, I know it took a 45 round to put it down though.
But it was finally dead.
Yep. All right, back to spooky stuff.
Yeah, so to really quickly recap about the Dark Watchers. They are mostly seen in the Santa Lucia Mountains. However, they have been seen all over Southern California, and we now have sightings reported in Wisconsin and Illinois. For those of you wondering where the Santa Lucia Mountains are, we'll get into it in a second. They are described as tall, oversized, featureless, dark silhouettes, often adorned with wide-brimmed hats and walking sticks. Mostly they are reported being seen in the hours of twilight or right around dawn. They appear motionless, watching travelers from the horizon along the ridges of mountains, and in most cases, if anyone attempts to approach them, they disappear. However, there are reports that is only because they don't want to be spotted by modern technology. So if you approach them without cell phones or cameras, apparently you can get a lot closer, and people have reported interacting with them.
Yeah,
Or
if it's the one that fucking lunged at me,
Yeah.
it's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, again, you guys didn't have a cell phone camera.
Yeah, but I didn't approach it. It approached me. Like,
Right.
Is there like pictures of them?
Yeah, just look up Dark Watcher, the Dark Watchers.
I'm looking California Watchers. That's probably
So sometimes they are attributed to
Birdwatchers
the native.
Association.
So sometimes they're attributed to the Native American, and forgive me here, anybody who happens to be from this tribe, but the Chumash people of central Chumash.
Yeah.
Sometimes attributed to the Native American Chumash people of central and southern coastal regions of California. However, those people do not have any myths or legends that match any description of the Dark Watchers.
Yeah, I did a little report on them in like 4th grade.
Oh, shut up, really?
Yeah,
They are most-
not the Dark Watchers.
No, that's
Chumash.
crazy.
The Chumash. They are most famously mentioned in John Steinbeck's Flight, a short story from 1983 that is found in a collection called The Long Valley. Pepe looked suspiciously back every minute or so, and his eyes sought the top of the ridges ahead. Once, on a white barren spur, he saw a black figure for a moment, but he looked quickly away, for it was one of the Dark Watchers. No one knew who the Watches were, nor where they lived, but it was better to ignore them and never show interest in them. They did not bother one who stayed on the trail and minded their own business. They're also referred to by the poet Robertson Jefferson in his 1937 poem, Such Counsels You Gave to Me and Others. He thought it might be one of the Watchers, who are often seen in this length of the coastal range. Forms that look human to human eyes, but certainly are not human. They come from behind ridges to watch, but when he approached it, he recognized the shabby clothes, pale hair, and even the averted forehead and concave line of eye to jaw, so that he was not surprised when the figure turning toward him in a quiet twilight showed his own face. It then melted and merged back into the shadows beyond it. Furthermore, Steinbeck's son, Thomas, grew up reporting to have seen Dark Watchers a lot in his childhood. Later, he and an artist friend, Benjamin Brode, collaborated on a book titled In Search of the Dark Watchers, where they go into the history of the legends and interview a lot of locals who claim to have seen them, such as the famed Big Sur resident Billy Post. According to a newspaper archive from the mid-1960s, a Monterey Peninsula local, former high school principal, went on a hiking trip into the Santa Lucias when he suddenly spotted a dark figure standing on a rock and surveying the area. When the principal called out to the other hiker, the creature simply vanished. For the science side of skepticism, illusions, hallucinations, and misrepresentations of natural stimulus can be brought on by exhaustion or isolation, and this is attributed to one of the reasons that this is seen. Another reason
Heat
is
blur and all that other stuff.
this is not a hot area. Big Sur, dude. Coastal California mountains.
I've been to some Chumash land, and it was inland enough to be hot.
All right. Fair enough. Another thing that's attributed to it is infrasound, which can be generated by wind and can cause feelings of uneasiness and anxiety in people, and is frequently connected to other paranormal sightings. An optical illusion known as the Brocken Spectre is a plausible explanation for the legend as well. An optical illusion known as the Brocken Spectre, a Brocken Spectre or mountain spectre, can occur in certain atmospheric conditions. When the sun is at a particularly perfect angle, the subject's own shadow can be cast onto a cloud bank around them, creating the illusion of a large shadowy humanoid figure facing them.
Oh, bullshit. I don't believe that.
But there are a lot of other things connected to it. The Dark Watchers also have some lead-ins, as Tom mentioned earlier. Or not as Tom mentioned earlier, but we talked earlier and Tom mentioned them earlier. There have been some attributes to Wendigo. There have been some attributes to skinwalkers, so aliens, some cool. I mean, it's freaky stuff.
Man.
It used to only be seen in one place. But if you've been following the podcast for a while, you know that we have a commissioned painter who happens to have a particular Gmail account that has Peninsula in it because he's from the Monterey Peninsula. So Ickbard, we want to know, have you ever seen a Dark Watcher? Come on, buddy. You live in the area. Tell us now. I mean, the area being a large mountain range, but still.
We're just calling out listeners now, I guess.
If you've been anywhere in the Rockies ever, which is a very large area, let us know if you've seen this shit.
Wait, I thought he was East Coast.
Nah,
Nah.
he's West Coast, dude.
Wait.
You're talking about someone else.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just remember looking at maps and seeing a bunch of water and shit, and I'm like, oh, this looks like East Coast.
Friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
From this region.
Definitely. I mean, I've heard them as other names. Like, I've never heard Dark Watchers, but I have heard the voyeurs and, voyeur spirits and things like that. I've heard of that stuff. But no, I mean, it's funny you mention it, like looking into it now, like just typing it up on Google. It's like, oh yeah, there they are.
Now,
but those ones they're all like pilgrims. Like most of them, they have hats.
When they were first experienced, the earliest experiences that we have recorded are all from Spanish missionaries. So, they kind of take on that pilgrim or that Spanish missionary kind of look.
So this is different than like the Hills Have Eyes people, right?
Okay, so the Hills Have Eyes people is
actual people, not like a spirit.
Yeah,
right?
we can talk about it. That has to do with
because it's
atomic weapons being tested and causing mutation and
okay.
breeding.
So
if you want to talk about the Hills Have Eyes, like
I've never even seen the movie
series.
I never really got into it, but it's just the creepy dude hiding in the hills watching. So I was not the same by
no.
Yeah.
So there's also something to be said about that with like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like that was a big thing talked about for a while. There's a local legend around Southern California, very, very Southern California.
In that?
Yeah, the remake.
Dude,
yeah,
Jesus,
that movie was just an excuse to show her butt.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, there's a local legend.
There's a local legend.
Ryan, cut this up. Sorry. Go ahead.
There's a local legend in South San Diego called the Proctor Valley Monster.
Okay, I need to know more.
So the Proctor Valley Monster, if you're driving out Otay Lakes Road, which is I used to fly out there. There's a small skydiving field and a lake.
That's where I jumped.
Yeah, and if you keep going out that way and you keep your eyes on the left, you'll get onto a part where you're on one side of a valley and on the other side is a big mountain, and on the left is actually a cave. You can see the entrance to the cave.
Oh, what?
And it's reported that the Proctor Valley Monster, which funny enough, Proctor Valley is actually on the other side of the mountain, but comparatively. So there's said that this cave goes all the way through the mountain, and there was they called it the Proctor Valley Monster, and they say that the area out there is haunted by this murderer who was this guy who would kidnap people and hang them up in his cave out there. And a lot of it was illegal, people hopping the border from Mexico.
I was going to say, I would sure hope it's illegal that you would do that to somebody.
No, a lot of it was
illegal
illegal immigrants. Yeah. And that's who he would capture and hang them up. So it became a big thing in like Spanish, in Mexican like lore about this area of crossing that was
nabbed by the Proctor.
Yeah, I think it was like during the 60s or 70s.
Okay,
which and that place was very different back then. Like,
it was
like Chula Vista, Bonita, like where I spent most of my young life was different. It has changed remarkably just since I was there.
Yeah, for sure.
So before then, it was a lot less. It was a lot more open space. But they say that the fields out there are still haunted by this guy because when they found him, they were attracted to this cave because the smell would come through the valley, and you would just smell this
corpses.
cave. Yeah,
that's gnarly.
Yeah, and it was like so bad. So like that's one of the signs when you're out there is you'll get a whiff of this like
it's like 29 Palms.
Yeah, you'll get a whiff of this like rotting smell, and they'll be like, "Oh, the Proctor Valley Monster's here," and like he's watching, So I've had some friends go out there hunting the Proctor Valley Monster, and they've said that like trees have fallen next to them, and like they've heard bushes break, like snap, like someone was running through them.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of it's true, but I mean it's one of those like urban legends. Like I've seen the cave.
It makes your skin crawl, and
yeah. Makes the willies
look
happen.
over your shoulder a couple times.
I mean, it was like a serial killer.
Yeah, no, I mean, apparently like 11 bodies were found.
Holy, that is a serial killer, right?
Yeah,
there,
yeah, and like that was just what was found. Like apparently he was eating them.
Oh man, okay, you gotta
fucking weird.
Maybe that'll be the thing that we actually hit next time. We'll do a little bit deeper dive on that if you guys want.
Yeah, I've never looked super deep, but and this is like the stuff that I've heard are from literally the people living there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I haven't, like, none of this is like official. Like I've only heard from people living there that this stuff, like I said, it was an urban legend when I was a kid.
That's it. It's super dope though.
Yeah.
I want to know
where it comes from, like the story.
Yeah, check it out. It's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, the Proctor Valley Monster is what it was called.
So, Marky, you brought up 29 Palms, and to finish out the scary story segment before we jump into Warhammer 40k scary story stuff. Do you guys care if I share my 29 Palms story?
You got one?
I have a 29 Palms story.
I have one too, but it's not really that like gnarly.
You could double dip.
So,
there's more than one palm tree out there.
I've got a Mexico story.
Do you want to share that one today, and I'll keep my 29 Palm one?
No, I don't mind. Whatever. The story I got is actually my brother's story, but it's like.
Yeah, I still haven't shared my story.
It's a good one. This is a good one.
Let's get
do both. Do yours, and then I'll do mine. It'll be quick.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Fuck me.
All right, so 29 Palms. Keep your 29. We got it.
My 29 Palms was literally 2 minutes.
We either got to keep getting fucking haunted, guys, or we're going to run out of scary stories.
I'm not one for pissing off spirits, so...
What I just heard is that Kevin's going to dip get his finger real wet, and he's going to willy it in the spirit's ear just to see what happens.
I mean, that's one way to put it.
All right. So my 29 Palm story. So I did not always work for the toy company that I work for. I used to be a freelancer. I used to be a freelance artist. And I have a background in working in the signage industry. And because of the way the signage industry works, it means that I have a lot of connection to real estate industry. This is a real estate story, kind of.
I'm already scared.
It's freaky.
Riveted.
Right? So one of the clients that I built websites for and I did a bunch of sign stuff for does real estate between Southern California and North Carolina because of Camp Pendleton and Camp Lejeune. So he's out in Camp Lejeune, he's living in North Carolina, and he's kind of relying on me to do a little bit of property management stuff. Property management stuff just means that you're the person who goes out and checks on shit. So he tells me that there's this house this Marine is he's moving out. This Marine is doing exactly what this guy's real estate business is set up for. He's moving from 29 Palms to Camp Lejeune. This is 100% what this client specializes in, but he's in North Carolina at the time. He calls me up and he goes, hey, I need you to go out and do a home walkthrough. I need you to do a home review. I need you to make sure there's not a lot of damage. I need you to check everything out. I need you to hang the signs. I need you to do the property management stuff.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool. Now, I already had the Blue Beast. I already had the Subaru at this point. So this is not that long. This is like right before I started working for the toy company.
Okay.
So I drive out there. Pretty common for the way that I operate when I'm being sent out to do a house walkthrough or something, specifically in an area like that where I know that there's not a lot of people, all that. 45 is on my hip, just in case. I drive all the way out there. I get to this house. I go up. I've got the key. Key doesn't work in the lock. Ring the doorbell. Nothing. So I'm immediately suspicious.
Yeah, that's suspicious already.
There is nobody out. You've been to 29 Palms. There's no one the fuck out here except the people who live here and drifters.
Yeah.
And those houses are really spread apart.
Yeah. In certain areas, those houses, you can go like 4 or 5 miles before you see another one.
Yeah.
And then like the next one could be not even a house, but like a little rat shack.
I mean, and this was more like, if you guys have ever seen, listeners, if you've ever seen the movie Sicario, the first one, the house that they find all the bodies on the wall, same fucking layout. So I contact the homeowner via text and I'm like, hey brother, like I can't get in. What gives, why is the door locked? And he goes, oh, I didn't know whether or not they were going to come out and change the locks. I had the locksmith leave an extra key in my old pit bull's doghouse in the dog run in the backyard. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go up, there's this little split in the fence, crawl through the split in the fence. I go into the dog house. Sure enough, hung up towards the top, there's a key. Take the key off, go back, try the front door, it doesn't work again. I'm like, dude. And he goes, hey, try the side sliding door. And I'm like, cool. So I go around to the side sliding door, key goes in, unlatches, and I start opening up. As soon as I start opening up, I hear 2 people inside. Oh shit, Yeah. So standard reaction. I announce my presence. I'm here. I'm with the real estate agent. You need to vacate the property. I am armed. I am making entry. Reach down, unbelt, draw, still safety on, and I enter the property because you don't know who's in the house at that point.
Right, of course.
Right.
There's these two Marines that are just squatting in the front room, and they're like, "Hey, we knew the property was empty. You know, we had a key. We got in.
The last guy kind of thing.
Yeah. They're like, we'll clear out our stuff. We'll get out of here. You know, the guy's wife had essentially let them stay there. And I was like, all right, well, you guys should open the door. Like, you freaked me out. I put my gun away and everything. So these guys get all this shit out and they leave. So as part of that, they call the dude's wife. The dude's wife comes out to kind of smooth things over. So I know, and I'm not pissed off. So I collect all the Marines' mail. I collect all the wife's mail. I get everything. I do a full house walkthrough. And at this point, I'm fucking paranoid as shit. So I do a full house walkthrough after these two guys have left, before the wife arrives, gun drawn and everything. I'm telling you, if you've seen the fucking opening sequence of Sicario, it looked like that house. The house with all the bodies in the wall.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it looked like. So I checked the whole house. The whole house is fine. There doesn't seem to be anything in it except this weird fucking mural, like creepy ass fucking mural painted. It's a clown painted in the garage. And I'm like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Right.
That's weird. Clowns are just creepy by their
It's
nature.
approaching.
Mural.
It's approaching dusk when this chick shows up. She parks in the side yard as if she is aware that the front door doesn't unlock. I've put up all my signs. I've taken all the pictures. I've done all the real estate.
Like it's a
management
habit
shit.
to park on the side
But
and
it's
come
a
around the
habit to
back.
park on the side. She comes into the house. She closes and locks the sliding room door, the sliding door. Now, mind you, I've been in this house for like 2 hours. Slide door is open. My like little portable speaker set is in the kitchen right next to the sliding door. My phone is sitting on the counter, listening to music, doing my shit with the garage door closed because I'm like, fuck that clown thing. So she comes in and I'm like, all right, you know, I just want to verify that these two guys were here. You know them. Here's your mail. We do all that shit. And I'm like, you know, now that I've done the whole walkthrough and everything, this isn't a bad place. Obviously, like she tells me that she and her husband are splitting and all this shit. And I'm like, well, why aren't you staying at the house? And she's like, I can't stay at the house anymore. And I'm like, well, what's going on? And she goes, well, my son's 8. And I'm like, all right, cool. And she goes, my son painted the creepy mural in the garage. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense because it's got that weird, like, I don't understand anatomy creepiness going to it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, all right, so why aren't you guys staying in the house? Because, you know, like, you don't have to be out for another, like, the house is going on market now.
It's going on
which
list.
means that there's like 60 days that you can still be in the house. And she's like, we can't stay here anymore. My husband's already in North Carolina. We're getting divorced. It's not going to work out, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I get it. And she goes, well, let me tell you what really happened. And I'm like, what, bitch?
You about to spill some tea?
Excuse the fuck out of me.
So this was back. You guys probably remember when this was happening. Remember the crazy, weird clown thing that was happening?
Yeah.
This was weird. Right around that time. So she tells me that for 4 months in a row, every like Tuesday, Wednesday night or morning, her kid would wake her up at like 3 a.m. and tell her that the clown man was in the backyard. And I'm like, nope, bitch, the sun's setting and the house doesn't have power.
And you're now telling me there's a creepy clown man lurking? Like,
so she goes, I didn't believe him until a week ago.
Oh, fuck me.
Dude, the hair on the back of my neck is standing up.
She got out of bed and followed her son into the kitchen.
Yeah. And
there was a dude dressed as a clown in the middle of their yard, staring into the kitchen.
Yeah.
She said she turned on all of the lights immediately. She called the cops. She called the neighbors. She let the pit bull out.
Oh, dude.
And the guy was gone. But she said this dude looked like he was like 9 feet tall. I'm sure he was like 6'4".
Yeah, it's probably like 6'1", 6'5".
It's just creepy on its own.
It's
and
just like
the
whole
outfit probably made it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
weird.
it probably was a real dude doing that.
It was
like back
probably
then,
just a dude.
Yeah, because that was like the whole thing was like dudes were doing that.
Just
like,
to fuck with people.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
she
creepy
did.
as shit.
till they started getting shot.
So she then goes,
And then people were like, oh, it's a bad idea.
she then goes, this is like 7 o'clock at night. She then goes, I got a dip. And she leaves.
And now Ryan's there alone.
I've got however much time it's going to take for the fucking locksmith to show up to fix the goddamn locks with no power and the creepy clown guy. So I sat in the middle of the fucking living room.
Point with your gun.
With my gun in my lap for 45 minutes until the locksmith showed up. And it was just one of those things where, like, every time I heard a dog bark, every time I heard a car drive by, every time I heard something, what was that? What was that? What was that? I didn't see anything. I did not see
alert.
anything myself, but dude, I was freaked the fuck out. That's my first of 2 29 Palm stories.
That is pretty
Fuck
creepy
stumps.
though.
Yeah, so mine is pretty short. Back when the wife and I were pregnant, I had a very large food baby.
Sympathy burrito baby.
Yeah. And she had
I was like, Mark was pregnant?
yes, and she had a normal baby. This would be my daughter. So this is 10 years ago.
All right.
And she, being pregnant, she always liked junk food, right? So we would drive. So the shack that we had, we lived in a duplex, not a very nice one either. Like it was like built in like, I don't know, the 50s. It was not a nice place, but it was only $500 a month. And I was down for that.
Oh, there's your first sign.
Yeah. $500 in California for a duplex. Not bad.
Yeah, that's
not bad.
That's your first sign somebody died.
Yeah, right?
Like,
It was very creepy. They had a little shack out back behind the house that I didn't have a key for, that there was stuff in there.
oh yeah, dead bodies. Yep.
I don't know. I never got in there, and I never wanted to because the windows were blacked out.
Yep.
I just know because like a little piece was scratched off and I could see like something kind of pushed up against the window, but I digress. That I never went in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, very creepy place. Well, we went to Jack in the Box. She always liked Jack in the Box tacos. And we went to Jack, and as we were driving, when you head towards the base, the street is kind of hilly.
Yeah, I know that. I
You know what I'm talking
exactly
about, where
what
you're kind of going
yeah.
up and down. So as you're kind of going up
This
and
property
down,
was off in that area, by the way. That like,
the hilly spot,
Yeah.
that's the main road, right?
yeah, you know that weird bail bond place?
Yeah,
It was like a block after that weird bail bond
that's
place.
where I lived.
It's fucking, if you lived in the goddamn clown house, I'm gonna shit myself.
Well, was it a duplex?
No, it was a standalone.
Okay. There was also some houses fairly close to my duplex as well. But as we're on this hilly road, your headlights are going up and down, right?
Right.
So as we're driving, I see someone crossing the road.
Oh, dude,
fuck.
I fucking hate stuff like that.
Yeah, and I turn and I look at Christy and I'm like, "Hey, watch out." And as I'm turning back, the headlights move up and it disappears. And I don't finish my sentence. And I was just kind of like stunned, essentially.
Fucking
And-
happened to me more than once, man. Fuck you.
I know.
I
And
have one of those.
and we're heading and after that so we went to Taco Bell. We went to get tacos from Jack, and we were going to my friend's house. And she's like, "Well, watch out for what?" And I'm just like, because my wife is very, very susceptible to just breaking down and crying if she's scared. I was just like, "Don't worry about it." As I'm freaking the fuck out
Internally.
Yeah.
Just like fucking internally dying.
So once we get to the house, my buddy's house, I'm like, it's dark out, okay? And I'm like, let's go inside. So we go inside, we sit down, and I'm still just kind of like wide-eyed, like, holy shit.
Well, and it's a whole different thing out there, dark-wise, because it is dark.
It's dark.
Like there
for
is
people
no
that-
light out there.
Good
For people who
stargazing
haven't been
area.
in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
like when it gets dark, like when it's a new moon and there's no moon to like,
It is
dark. Like it can
black
be
out
light.
there.
Like if it's a full
Yeah.
moon, you can see pretty well. Like you can
yeah,
almost
yeah.
drive
The
around.
only
without your
lights that you could
headlights.
see are like kind of the storefronts, like kind of dim lights just on the
Yeah,
main
no,
road.
it is dark
Yeah.
as hell out
Yeah.
there.
But yeah, if it's not a full moon, like it gets dark out in the wilderness.
So I look at her and she's like, "Well, what did you see?" And I look at her and I'm like, "Did you not see the person crossing the street?" And she's like, "What? No." And I'm like, "There was a man, like a black figure crossing the street." And she's like, I didn't see that." I'm like, as our headlights went up, he disappeared. And she's like, "Why the fuck didn't you tell me that?" I'm like, "Well, one, I didn't want you to steer us into a fucking building. And two, I didn't know.
like I wasn't even sure what I saw.
wasn't. No,
There's-
dude, I'm 100% sure what I saw.
Oh,
There-
wow.
there
It was
is a lot.
It was a dark figure crossing the street.
There's a lot of weird shit because you pass Joshua Tree. Joshua Tree's up by 29.
it's right next
past.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
29 Palms
There is a
past Joshua.
lot of weird shit in
Yeah.
Joshua
Yeah,
Tree.
once you pass 29 Palms, then it gets real weird. That's where all the
Oh, yeah.
crackheads
So
are.
your story actually just reminded me because I normally don't have like a lot of spooky stuff, but I have a very similar like driving around in the middle of nowhere.
How are we doing on
headlights.
time? Because I know we wanted to stick to 30 minutes.
No, we're gonna quickly,
It's super short.
and then we got to get into.
We can skip mine. I can tell mine.
Guys, we're gonna be a little long on this episode, but we love you and we wanted to bring it to you.
I didn't even get to say my scary
Plus,
ones.
we got motherfucking haunted in the middle, which was not planned.
That's really what happened.
We had a guest speaker that came through the AC today.
Fucking
All right,
awesome.
so here's my creepy dude in the desert with headlights story. So I went to college for 1 semester in Arizona to go to flight school out there, which in its own was an interesting experience. But one day we were coming back from Buffalo Wild Wings and trying to pick up chicks at the mall, 42 miles away. I mean, what else do college guys do when the mall is 42 miles away?
Yeah, I got you.
I told you guys there was literally nothing. 42 miles. You had to drive to find anything. So we were on our way back, and as we're pulling back into the campus, which was it wasn't even in the city that it was in. It was on the highway. Like on the highway. And as we're pulling in, we're like making a turn. There's like a roundabout kind of on the entrance. Okay. There's some big like hedgerow kind of, college style roundabout with some bushes and shit for decoration. And literally as we're turning, headlights sweeping across this round, I just see what I swear was at least one person just flicker past my vision. And I'm like, what the motherfuck was that? So we make a second roundabout. Gone.
Yeah.
Fucking gone. One of the other guys happened to be looking in its direction because there's 4 of us in the car. He goes, dude, no, that was a person hands down diving into that bush.
Oh, wow.
And so then we like kind of hung out and like eyeballed it. Didn't see shit. Never saw anything come out of that bush. Nothing, but like it was weird.
Watch it for 45 minutes and nothing comes out. You're like, what the fuck?
We figured out what it was. and it's, I mean, we're not 100% sure what it was.
Was it a guy dressed as a clown? Because fuck that shit.
We deduced it was a border jumper.
That makes sense.
Because Border Patrol would come and drive around the dirt roads around our school.
Oh, no.
We actually got pulled over on one of those dirt roads because they thought we were illegals.
I just remembered. There's a really funny story I have with border hoppers.
I have a funny story.
And so I'm pretty sure that's all it was a dude was just like, oh shit, that's the cops, and dove into the bushes and just didn't move. He was probably just as terrified of us as we were of him. Ooh, but creepy nonetheless.
Yeah,
oh man.
So as far as other scary stories, did you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
How long is yours?
I don't know, decently.
Mine's pretty short. I can
go ahead.
Bang out a quick one.
Give us a banger. Give us a banger.
Bang it out, man.
Well, I mean, this was off the podcast, but I asked the guys which story they wanted me to share. And I think the last one I teased was the leprechaun. And that one got like a little bit of a reaction.
Irish.
So back when my dad was around when I was younger, because my mom was... I fucking hate saying it so many times. We were not well off, obviously. And when we celebrated Christmas, we didn't celebrate Christmas all the time. And when we did, the one time that the first Christmas I remember, my brother and I were so like, we're not, how do I put it? We're not patient. So when you put something in front of me, I want it. Like I fucking want it. So just like my presents, I was like, I want my fucking presents. It's probably like a week before Christmas. And in my front room, the way my house was shaped was phallic-y. Okay, so
I lived in a giant penis under the sea.
Explains so much about your childhood.
So you walk into my house, and then there's the first room. Think of that as the left testicle. There's a wall that divides that testicle from the kitchen.
It's a butthole.
Did I already say left? This is the right testicle. So it's left, right?
Where's the butthole?
And then there's a long.
Exactly. I'm like, when's he gonna get to the
butthole?
butthole?
The dog run next to the two.
Sounds about right.
Butthole's my neighbor. And then there's a long shaft, which is my hallway. And along this long shaft are all the other rooms, right?
Yeah.
So it's phallic-y, right?
It's just a normal layout of a house, but okay.
Oh, okay.
Somehow,
but anyway,
most houses are like that, but that's fine.
So my brother and I shared a room, like pretty much our entire lives. We were at the end of the hallway. So at the end of the hallway, we're at the furthest room on the left as you're walking down the hallway. And I wake up and I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't want to wait for these presents. So I get up, I walk over to my brother's bed and I kind of like nudge my, hey, Mike, I don't even know if my brother remembers this, honestly. I'm like, hey, dude, you want to go scope out our presents? He's like, I mean, yeah, sure. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Let's we'll tear it open and then we'll get like a little piece of tape, and then we'll cover it back up so that way, you know, mom will never know.
Yeah.
And
The
he's
kid
like, all right.
tricks.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, all right, cool. And it's like 2 a.m. right now, 2 or 3 a.m. And we're kids, you know. I'm probably 7. My brother's 4 because they're 3 years apart. Yeah. So he probably might not remember this actually. My mom's room is across from us, so we're kids. We're trying to be sneaky and quiet. Me and my brother were little shits. So we were kind of doing like the whole Emperor's New Groove, like up against the wall, like oh, yeah, exactly.
Panther theme.
Exactly. So we're pushed up against the wall on the hallway, and it's a pretty long hallway. It's probably about 25 feet long, and we're just kind of scooching. I'm trying, like, I can see that my mom used to leave like the TV on all night, and I can see that the TV's on underneath the door. My mom's door's closed, and I'm scooting down the hallway, and we pass my sister's room. She's in the next room next to us. She's passed out, and she shared a room with my other sister. And my mom had this VCR, or a stereo system, and on the stereo system, she didn't have the time set up, and it had this green, like, ominous glow, and it would flicker, so it'd be like on and then off.
Yeah.
On. And then
Oh,
off.
it's like the old ones.
The old school ones.
Yeah.
So it just blinked like 12, like an old microwave,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it would be
Old
green,
VCR style.
It was like a green, it was a green light, and it would just be on and off.
Yeah.
On.
Probably had the
and
same
off.
VCR because I know exactly what you're
Right,
talking about.
exactly. It's pretty similar. And I'm sneaking down the hallway, and I'm like, all right, cool. We're almost there. The lights for the tree aren't on because my mom was like, it's pointless. Why waste electricity? And we're scared because it's pitch black, and we're trying to be sneaky.
And mom might catch you.
And mom might catch us. So as I get to the end of the hallway, you can look to the right. That's our front room. To the left is our kitchen. Kitchen's pitch black, whatever, you know. I'm like, okay, cool. The VCR is giving off, or the stereo system's giving off light, and we can use that. And I look into the living room, and I see something moving, and I'm like, what the hell is that? So on the far side is our couch, and then we have our tree at the end of that, in the furthest corner away from me, and then another couch next to the tree. And the VCR is up against the wall that splits the ball sack, right? And it's giving off the light against the furthest wall. And I'm looking at the couch, and on the couch, it's giving off the light, and you can see the shadow off the back, like the back piece of the couch, right? And above that is what looks like a fucking leprechaun jumping up and down as the light goes on and off.
On the couch?
Up and down on the couch.
That's fucking
Jumping
weird.
up and down. And as I see this, I'm like, what in the fuck is that? And it suddenly, like, right as that crossed my mind, it stopped midair, and I could see the shadow of the head, like, turn and look at me. And I fucking book it, and I drag my brother. I grab him, and I drag him to the room. I'm like, fuck. I was like, get the fuck out. And, like, we run back to the room, and I throw him in his bed, and I throw the blanket over him, and I jump in my bed, and I fucking throw the blanket over me, and I stay there and stay awake.
As you're saying some of this shit, there's fucking things making noise right behind me. Continue, sorry. You go to sleep.
That was the end of the story.
Ugh.
So you retreated to the safety of the blankets.
Yeah, and
that was
this
it.
this is probably my first ghost story, because this happened before my grandma thing.
Yeah.
This was my first one, and
That's pretty creepy, not gonna lie.
I will never fucking forget it. It is.
Did it have a face? Like, or was it
No.
just a shadow?
It was just a shadow.
So it was like
Up and down.
like a black puppet. Like
It's
a black
another-
puppet.
It was like a black.
It's like
puppet.
another fucking Dark Watcher.
But a midget Dark Watcher.
Except-
But there was no
A dark
like
midget.
form. There was no like 3D form. It was just the shadow of it jumping up and down.
Oh.
It was like it was casting a shadow, but there was nothing there to
cast
cast
the
the shadow.
So what if it was like in front of the VCR?
Yeah.
So it was.
I don't
It was
need that.
actually closer to you.
I don't need that.
yeah,
what I was thinking.
imagine it
That's
was
what
at
I
the
was
VCR, and that's why you
And you
saw
were
it.
seeing its shadow.
You were seeing its shadow, so it was actually closer to you
dude,
than you
I
thought.
fucking got goosebumps.
I know.
when
Yeah, I
was
gave
thinking
myself,
about
I freaked
this.
myself out with that one.
Yeah, that so. Yeah, and I never peeked at presents again after that.
Because you know what it could have been? It could have been like, I mean, it could have been, you know, Elf on a Shelf type bullshit.
Yeah.
It could have been, because I mean, think about it, like if it was
like a gingerbread
of
man
a fucking,
or something.
yeah, of like, well, on a fucking elf. Like it could have literally been like, you could have seen like one of Santa's little helpers all excited about fucking Christmas happening.
Yeah.
And he's like, here come these kids ruining fucking Christmas. He's all, fuck you, kids.
Scared the fuck out of me, dude. I will never forget that. I don't know if my brother even saw it because I remember I was the one peeking across
he was
around the
behind
corner. He was in front of me, but like I was taller than him, so I was peeking over him. I don't know if he was looking either. I'm like the
VCR is basically where you are, but it's facing the tree, right? Same thing as you.
Yeah. So the way the layout
like
is,
you're standing in the doorway to the living room,
right? So there's the hallway, right? I know people listening cannot see, but I'm going to try to. Yeah, Tom can probably try. So the shaft, right?
Right.
Ball.
Right.
Wall that separates them.
Yeah.
Lined up with the hallway.
Yeah. So then, but
the
there's
VCR is up against that wall.
Yeah, facing the same way you are. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the room is in front of you. And you're in the doorway and in the opening.
I'm tying the doorway.
Yeah, right. So the room is in front. So as you're facing the room is in front of you. It's a square room. The tree is in the opposite right-hand corner. There's a couch on the right and there's a couch directly in front of you. The VCR is actually to your left.
I'm still in the hallway.
Yeah, but the VCR is on that side of the wall to your left. Right, I'm guessing kind of catty-cornered, so it's like in the corner.
So the wall that separates the two rooms is what has the TV pushed up against.
Oh, okay. So the TV is actually flat against where you're at. Okay,
flat against the wall.
So the VCR is facing the same way that you're looking.
Right.
So then, yes, that could.
I can't see the source of the light.
Right. So it could have been in front of the VCR, even smaller than what you were seeing. You were seeing a larger reflection, of what it could have been.
Whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it basically looked like it was jumping up and down on that couch, and it fucking terrified the shit. I don't even know if my brother Mike saw this. I never told him.
I bet you it was a fucking moth.
You think it was like a moth?
I bet you it was a fucking moth.
A moth?
It was a moth flickering on that fucking VCR, and the reflection was just shining on the wall, or the shadow,
and it just looked weird.
Yeah,
and the second like it landed up against the glass is when it stopped.
And that's because
it's got to be something.
I guarantee
it didn't look like it was fluttering though. Like I swear.
No, but I mean, like that's
so weird at night,
and it's blinking on and off.
And
like
I'm a child.
Yeah, I guarantee you that's probably what it was. Like just analyzing what you were looking at and like the angles of which my scientific analogy with that it would have been a bug shining towards that light.
It's just weird. Like it's just weird because of the angle
on a shelf or something.
Because of the angle. So like I said, the VCR is casting this way, right?
The same direction.
The couch is this way. This is where I saw it jumping. It's casting this way.
Oh, so the couch is actually on the left wall.
It's not in line.
This is where I saw him jumping. I didn't see him jumping over here. I saw him jumping here.
Shit.
Trees here. So I'm gonna do like north, south, east, west. So if I am, if I'm in the south,
you're facing north,
and I'm facing north. How do I put it? The tree is to the northeast corner. The couch that I saw the leprechaun jumping is on the north wall in my living room on the left testicle, and then the TV and the stereo system is pushed up against the wall that divides the left.
Oh no, okay, so then that's so right. The couch isn't on the left; it's still here, and the VCR is shining this way, right?
Right, but the couch is here. That's where I saw it.
Oh, so the couch is to the west then?
No, the couch is pushed up against the north wall.
That you saw the thing jumping.
That's where I saw it jumping.
So why did you just say it was left? Because if the couch is here, the VCR is here.
Right.
It's shining this direction.
And I'm saying I saw it here.
Yeah, but you're looking this direction too, right?
I'm looking this direction. Okay. It's casting this way. I'm standing in the
okay. So the TV isn't shining the same direction as you.
No.
Basically.
Oh, okay. No. Sorry. Well, that's what I keep saying. I'm like, it's shining the same direction you're looking.
Yeah, I'm trying to describe
it's shining from his left to right.
Yeah,
He saw the shadow in front of him.
Okay,
so it's not in line with
but that's why I kept saying. I was like, it's shining the same direction you're looking. He's like, yes. Yeah. It's not. It's shining a different direction. It's shining perpendicular to what you're
like Kevin was saying. It's shining from my left to right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Then I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah. It fucked me up for a long time.
That's super creepy.
It was Kevin in his infancy joining me before I met him. Spirit of Kevin. So yeah, it fucked me up for a long time.
That is strange. I don't know how you would explain a leprechaun silhouette.
I don't know either, man. That's just what I saw.
I got nothing, man.
All right, my story.
Yeah, send it, dude.
So this actually isn't I'm tempted to. Which story do you want to hear? Do you want to hear the story from my brother's perspective of down in Mexico, or of the crying woman, or the owl that never blinks?
I want to hear the crying Mexican.
Okay. So this isn't my story. This is a story that my brother told me.
You're going to freak out Bear Mex. Dude.
Yeah. So my brother told me this story, and I believe him. Me and my brother, this is one of my brothers. I have two. He and I have had some experiences together that we trust each other. So my brother used to go down to Mexico all the time, and I forget where they are, Puerto Vallarta, wherever the hell they are. You go down and get lobsters for $1, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly where.
Yeah, right. It's on the beach, and he was
Sounds like my kind of place.
Hardcore. My brother was a hardcore surfer. Like he was in like magazines and shit.
Nice.
This is like right after he came back from Iraq. Mm-hmm. So he and like a big group, like there's like 10 people, right? So that's how I know this story also is true, is that like I have like 2 or 3 other people that told me the same thing. Mm-hmm. So they all go down there, they rent a house, right? And it's like one of those little like, it's probably completely incorrect, but I want to say like little Pueblo houses where it's all open. Like there's a courtyard before you go into the door, and then it's all white with those like wood like posts sticking out of the top of it.
Yeah.
And like clay
Pueblo,
tile.
Mesa
Yeah, right.
style.
Like, Mesa style.
Mason,
and it's just a big room, right? Where they have like a kitchen and in the backyard is like
hacienda style.
hacienda.
That's
There
the
you
word.
go.
Yeah. I was like,
So
what's
yeah,
the word?
so it's one of
It's
those,
not
and there's like 10
ranchero,
people
it's,
in this bitch, right? Like that's there's curtains that cover all the windows,
It
but
was
like
the Airbnb before Airbnb.
Adobe.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking
Yeah.
for. It's where they
you can
whitewash the Adobe and you got all the little wooden beams.
yes.
sticking out the
So
top.
you can open up the back of this thing to where it's like completely open. The whole house is open. So, but the front is very like narrow, and there's a door, and it's all closed off. So he's down there, they're surfing, having a good time. Second or third day, I think they're down there, because he's been down there for like a week, right? Mm-hmm. Or he goes down there for like a week. So it's like the second or third day he's down there, a big tropical storm comes through.
Oh,
right. So they can't surf. So they're like, oh, no biggie. Like, but it's super warm. And like my brother's like, fuck it, I'll go surfing anyway. So they were going down to the beach at night. And I mean, it's pouring with rain.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I mean, but like
it's an experience.
Yeah, it's warm.
But
so
it's
like
warm, so it's not like
it's not bad, but
yeah.
So my brother, he ends up going back to the house because there's a couple of the girls and like one dude and one of the girls at the house. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna go run back and get some more beer. So he runs back into the house, and as he's in there getting some beer, 2 of his other friends come back from the beach. There's still like a couple of them down on the beach, like 3 or 4. Forgive me, the numbers, I don't know exactly how many.
Right. You're just retelling it how you remember.
Yeah,
I got you.
So basically, what I remember is that my brother Sean, or his friend Ian, and his other friend Tony, I think, and then Sean. Right. So there's those are like the key players.
Gotcha.
So my brother goes in, his other 2 friends come in too. It was like Sean and Tony, I think, and Ian is there. And all of a sudden, like they're grabbing beer. The girls are like all in. They've like got all these like air mattresses and stuff. So the whole area is just like beds. And there's one couch, and it's this big white couch. And they're in there, and all of a sudden they hear the door bang, like fucking loud, like doo, 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 doo. And they're like, oh shit. Like, and he's like, oh, what's his name? Forget the fucking, like, did I lock it? Whatever. Goes over there, opens it. Nobody's there. Right. So he's like, okay, whatever. Wind, storm, the back windows are shaking. So he's like, oh, maybe it was just like the reverberation or whatever.
Right.
So they get their beer, they go back out. And now they come in later. Same thing again. They've come back, and it's probably like 2 a.m. now. And some of the girls are asleep, but like it's party time. Like, they're out there having a good time.
Try and do it as much as you can.
Yeah. So
You're
they
in Mexico.
Yeah. And so they come into the house, and now they're all kind of hanging out in the house, right? On the door again. And they're like, man, what the fuck? So he goes over there, and Ian opens the door, and there's nobody there, but he's like, what the fuck? And he sees something out in like past the terrace, right?
Yeah, out in the rain.
Yeah, out in the rain. And he says that he sees a silhouette of like a person in white. And he's like, is there someone out there? And he like walks out, and the door fucking slams behind him.
Oh,
right?
Fuck.
And Ian, like my brother hears Ian go, what the fuck? And then he like comes around, opens the door, and he's like, who the fuck shit? They're like, oh man, the wind. Like, like I said, storming.
The
like,
wind.
Yeah. And so
It didn't close behind him. It closed in front of him.
no, behind him. He went outside, and that thing
And
slammed
that thing
behind
slammed
him.
on his ass. Oh
Yeah.
my god, dude!
Right. And
That
my
is
brother and
terrifying.
like all of them are standing there watching the door shut.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, like, the wind, like, whatever,
Yeah.
storm. Well, Ian's like, what the fuck, man? And then he turns around, like, once he opens the door, he's like, why'd you shut it? And they're like, oh, we didn't. Turns around, this silhouette's gone. And he's like, fuck, man, I swear to God, if I saw somebody out there. And they're like, oh, I don't know, man. You're just drunk, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Couple more minutes go by. You know, they've all come inside now. Again. And they're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, oh, punk ass kids. Like, so my brother bolts to the door and opens it super quick, right? Nothing. And he runs outside and the other guys run outside. Nothing. But they see this silhouette across the street. And it's a woman, right? Covered, like just pissing down with rain, right? And they can hear her crying. So they're like, hey,
God damn it.
Hey. And one of the guys is like, who speaks Spanish. And he's like, he says, it's been so long, I don't remember exactly what the Spanish words were, but he basically said like, hey, are you all right?
Yeah.
Right. Nothing. Right. Just crying. And so they start making their way. I'm already goosebumping. They start making their way out there and she turns and runs towards the beach. Right. Because they're literally on the beach. Like 2 steps, she's on the sand and she runs into the water.
How old is the youngest person there?
24.
Okay.
Maybe. Like they were all like almost in their 30s.
Yeah.
But that's not the same like as the La Llorona or whatever, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is.
So the woman,
the imagery sounds right.
So the woman,
but the target isn't the same.
The woman in white is very, very pervasive in in a lot of supernatural hotspots. If there's a supernatural hotspot, there's a good chance that there, Jesus Christ, I can't even break down the lore of the fucking Americas, like from a anthropological standpoint without getting goosebumps, by the way. But if there's an area with like supernatural hotspot activity, there's usually a woman in white story. The woman in white specific to Mexico usually has to do with rivers, the sea, and rain.
Yeah, I know it's water, a lady in white.
Yeah, and it's a woman. I believe sorry, Tom, I'm going to interrupt you. I believe the legend is that she drowned her own kids.
Yeah.
And she basically searches for other kids
to drown.
Right. Yeah. And that's why you were asking about how old.
Right.
So it's not that because I've heard that story.
Right.
Either that or y'all came outside and like no
guys,
children.
It gets way worse.
Oh shit.
So she runs into the ocean. Right. And they go, what the fuck? And my brother like runs down to the beach. She's gone.
Yeah.
So they're like, what the fuck? And they were like, I don't know, man, maybe somebody's fucking with us. Like, we don't know. And so they're like, look, let's just get back to the house. So they had come back to the Pueblo, you know, and they're drying off and stuff. You know, they're thinking, okay, do we call the police? Like, what's the number? You know, like it's not 911.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so one of the guys is like, maybe I should go to the neighbor's house and like talk to one of them.
Don't do that.
Well, depending on what part of Mexico, and you could just get Americans who own beach houses.
Yes,
that's a good.
So they were like, well, yeah, it's one of those types of things, right?
It's just all tourist homes.
Yeah. So
someone that's gonna blow your.
They're like, whatever. It's probably just somebody fucking with us. Like some chick's probably drunk off her ass. We're all drunk. Whatever. It happens again, right? Banging on the door. This time she's standing there,
like in front of the door.
In front of the door.
Like not on the other side.
So
of the street,
they open the fucking door, right? And it's like, I think it was Tony who opened it. And he goes, oh fuck. And there's a woman standing there crying, right? Little Spanish girl, like not young, but like young, you know, like definitely not like an old lady. And she is drenched and just dripping head to toe, right? And her hair is like down, like, but you could see her face and you could see that she was crying. Yeah. And so he goes, holy shit. And then one of the other guys is like, oh, fuck. And everybody's like, oh, fuck. Like, everybody's all up at this point. And so they're like, hey, are you okay? And like one of the guys says like, you know, in Spanish, like, hey, you come inside. Are you okay? And one of the guys like puts a towel around her, right? Because like, you know, one of the girls had like grabbed a towel from the bathroom and they're like, stay here. And the woman, I believe what she said was, I'm all alone, right? In Spanish. Right. I don't know exactly what that word was, but something solo vente, solo, I don't know, solo something. And I think it meant like, I'm alone now, or I'm all alone, something like that.
Right.
And because my brother, like, he was Spanish, like he didn't fucking know.
Yeah.
So they bring her in. And he's like, all right, you know, you two go to the neighbor's house. You two go to the other neighbor's house. You go to the bathroom. You know, get some more towels.
Let's
like
split up, gang.
Well, right? You know, they're thinking like they've got to help this girl. Well, they've got to help this girl. Maybe she was raped. Like that's what my brother thought was like. Yeah. So my brother, you know, and like they're all dudes, like and they run outside.
Save the girl.
Yeah. So my brother's with her, and I forget who it was. It was somebody else. I think it was Sean. We're in the room with her, And they like sit her down and the girls run off down to the bathroom. One of the girls is running off into like, cause it was like a bathroom that had like another room attached to it.
Yeah.
And that's where they kept all their like expensive stuff, you know, so like cell phones, things like that. And one of the girls is running there trying to get to her cell phone. The other one is running to the bathroom. She's getting like blankets. She's turning on the hot water because it was, you know, she was like, oh, maybe she's hypothermic, like, you know, because she was freezing. Like when like one of the guys had touched her, she was freezing, and they sat her on the couch. And my brother's like, okay, we got to figure out something. So he goes into the kitchen and he pulls Sean into the kitchen and he's like, okay, once this comes in, because they're grabbing water at this point, right? They're like, all right, getting out the plane. They come back into the living room. She's fucking gone. And they left her alone for like a second, like not even alone. Like
it was pretty much like turned around.
Yeah, like literally, like Sean was like his, you know, my brother's friend,
like stepped out of the room and
not even like out of the room. Like he was like, I could still see her out of the corner of my eye until we turned around. Like he's like, she was there. He's like, I swear to God, she was there. And we turned around and it's just a towel. It's the towel on the couch, and the couch is soaking wet. Right.
Weird.
So they are like, oh shit. So they run outside and they're like trying to find her, you know? So
drunk logic.
Yeah, right. Point. Exactly. Yeah. So they're running around.
I would have been like, lock the fucking house. We're done.
Yeah. So they never find her again.
Yeah.
Right. All night they spent running around, like running, you know, back and forth. They're all sobering up, you know, and you know, the storm. So they're like, all right, there's nothing more we can do. So my brother's like, hey, let's just take turns like sleeping, you know, just in case she comes back, you know, anything like that. Nothing happens. The next day, and mind you, the guys had gone to the neighbor's houses. Nobody's home.
Shit.
Right. So they're like alone on this like block. Right. Yeah. So the next morning, people at the beach, the little market, you know, they go down there and they start talking about, you know, like, hey, did anybody see anything? Like, did, you know, and like, there was only one guy who spoke Spanish. Yeah. And he's going around and they go, oh,
you've seen her.
They called her the flower. Or like flower or something like la flauta or something like that. Like I don't know how to say it, but flaulita. Like,
flauta. I think that's some food.
Yeah, that's like rolled taco. Yeah. You saw rolled taco.
Yeah.
Well, it was like they called her.
Sorry,
they called her like white flower or something like that. Yeah. And they're like, oh, you saw her. And they were like, well, fuck you mean, oh, you saw her, you know? And it turns out like that. This is what she does. Huh?
Flor Blanca.
Yeah. Flora?
Flor Blanca.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know about the Blanca, but it definitely, I remember him saying like Flora, like Florita or something like that.
Florita would just be little flower.
Maybe that's what it was.
That sounds
like what it is.
Little bean.
So they basically like, apparently the story is this girl was drowned in the beach there.
Oh my God.
And whenever there's like groups of people and it rains, she comes out and she comes out of the ocean and begs for help. Wow. And this is like a thing like that has happened down there. And he's like, dude, he's like, I wouldn't have believed it if the couch wasn't soaking wet. Yeah. Like the next morning, the couch was still wet. Like,
so,
God damn.
So this is a white lady. And I mentioned kind of in the middle of your story, I didn't cut you off, that these are really common, but a white lady or a lady in white is a type of female ghost that's typically dressed in a white dress or similar garment, reportedly seen in rural areas and associated with local legends of some great tragedy. White lady legends are found in many countries across the world, and commonly these legends are associated with accidental death, murders, suicides, or any theme of loss, betrayal, or brutality by a husband, fiance, or unrequited lover.
Yeah, there was no story of how she drowned. Like it said that she had drowned. Yeah. Like,
yeah, they say like that's almost like actually like a banshee, right?
I have a white banshee's different.
Is it?
Banshee's different. I have a white lady story too.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, dude,
not gonna tell it tonight.
My mom's a white lady.
Different kind of white.
Your mom went to college.
Yeah, but that's the story. You know, like I believe it simply for the fact of like being like, yeah, okay, I'm sure you saw there might have been a woman, you know, but like I don't know, like seeing something that clearly. Yeah. Like,
well, you're I have a white lady story too. That's all I'll say.
Her name was Karen. She wanted to speak to the manager.
Oh my God.
That's a terrifying story.
I was like, I'm already scared.
Yeah. So there's two major things that happened when Marky was telling his story. I was thinking, this is Cusco's poison, the poison for Cusco. the poison specifically meant for Cusco. And then when you were telling your story, I was like, did she have the tamale cooler? Because I would have been like, we don't want them right now.
No, thank you.
And that's just like humor. Like I keep bringing up that like humor is really linked to horror. My mind immediately was like, how do I make both of these funny?
How do I make them not scary?
I need to make this shit
How do
funny.
I comfort myself?
Yeah. All right, guys. So just like our format last, we got a couple more. We definitely have more ghost stories. We definitely have more that we're going to share.
Throw the cherry on top.
We need to save the rest of our ghost stories.
We are
later.
saving them.
We like to throw the cherry on top. That is 40K.
Yeah. So sticking with our last format for our last horror episode, we're going to take a look at authors this time. Last time we looked at the movie Alien, the movie franchise Alien, and how it dealt with some of the concepts that are very easily linked to the Tyranids. We're going to enter into the next several episodes, the next 4 episodes, three episodes.
3 episodes, yeah.
3 episodes. We'll cover different chaos gods. Tonight, we are going to cover Nurgle. But sticking with that same format, we're going to take a look at authors like Robert W. Chambers, H.P. Lovecraft, Stephen King's, and even Dean Koontz. These are all authors who have focused on the horrible ideas of what is out there in the unknown. What goes bump in the night? What may exist in the endless dark void of stars above our heads? Things that exist next to our universe or just under the surface of our normal world. In the case of Lovecraft and Chambers, these gods and extra-dimensional spaces that our primitive minds were just unable to fathom. Stephen King echoed some of these ideas, but expanded it into how humans may be changed by these powers, how they might be morphed by these powers. And Dean Koontz delves into the concept that these powers might be changing us without us even noticing them. Again, these are all very, very easy concepts to link right back into grim horror, grim dark, and just all of the elements, which can be used to point out the flaws in humanity, which is a very easy correlation to the way that the warp and the chaos gods work in Warhammer 40k. The chaos realm, the realm of the Immaterium, exists next to real space. It's an extra-dimensional space filled with unknowable entities, unknowable intelligences, and things that are much, much bigger, much, much vaster, and much scarier than humans can even imagine. Or it's filled with the things that humans imagine are much larger and much scarier than they can imagine. To define the warp a little bit more, it exists in the game world as an extra-dimensional space of pure psychic energy, a realm once the home of great and unknowable intelligences that is the very fabric of this sort of existential horror that comes out of this early movement, this early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s, movement of what has become modern horror. However, by merely existing, and sometimes in our own hubris, humans in the Warhammer 40k universe have given rise to titanic horrors that we know as the Dark Gods. To kick us off on the 4 Dark Gods, Tom has a story about Nurgle.
So this is a story that Kevin may have actually heard of too. So it's actually kind of a, in our hive, this is, I'm going to be telling this story as it were a urban legend in our hive. Now, Kevin, you know the names of the 2 characters I'm going to be talking about. Who were they again?
I mean, we don't like to talk about them, but if I remember right, Williamson and Flowers.
Williamson and Flowers. That's right.
Troopers.
So they were 2
Fresh on the fresh meat.
Yeah, they were 2 Imperial Guard
Rest their souls.
Infantrymen. And this is
On shore leave or PDF guys?
Yeah, so they were actually on shore leave, and they basically the hive was like a stop. Like they had gotten some shore leave of coming in from this hive over to their next big deployment.
Doing what soldiers do when
and it's actually exactly one of those. So the place that they ended up like, what do guardsmen do? Right? What's the first thing a guardsman wants?
Leave children in every port.
Right? Okay. So they usually want to find
the regiment bigger.
Usually want to find the comfort of women and some food and some alcohol. Yeah, or men, but comfort physically.
Yeah.
So they ended up going to, which now we as underhivers, we know exactly where this is. And we also know not to go there. If you haven't heard of this, you haven't been down there. It's close to the sump. and it's actually called Filthy Vids and Dirty Chicks.
Oh my.
Okay. And it's a,
gotta watch out for
What
the
do they have there?
so it is,
What is there?
I've never actually seen the place. I've only heard of it.
What's
But
not
it
to
is-
go there?
Yeah, I've heard definitely not to go there, but it is a hidden brothel right near the sump. This brothel, when these two guys got there, Flowers and Williamson. So Williamson and Flowers have been like best buds forever. Like they made friends over one of their tours, and they've never separated. You know, they've never been away from each other since. I think they've been to 2 different planets by this point. Like as far as like a guardsman goes, like they've been well past
That's a pretty good
15 hours. Yeah.
career. That's longer than 15 minutes.
For a guardsman to survive more than one theater is impressive of itself. So, I mean, there was probably some AMASAC involved in the initial decision to go down here.
Well, they were hardened dudes.
They thought
like,
they could handle.
Yeah, like they were considered like hardened dudes, right? So they went down there and they actually found the brothel. Now, when they went in, the first thing that they really kind of saw was how clean it was. I mean, you know, we're talking near the sump, man. Like everything stinks down there. Like everything is toxic. Everything smells awful. But this place was like immaculate. I mean, this,
they do say that that's where you can find all the treasure, though. So.
yeah. Well, so like, I mean, that's, you know, I mean, maybe this is one of those places like
a diamond down there.
yeah. And this place was so well done. They go in and they walk up to, you know, the main concierge, if you will. And he tells them that it is a holiday for soldiers. It's a guardsman's day. So they get in for free.
It's a trap.
So they
Sounds
go
like a
in
trap.
and this place is gorgeous. I mean, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but it's beautiful. Like they've got lovely walls, like nothing. I mean, you know, they've got curtains on the walls. They've got private booths. They've got girls on the poles. They've got the one thing is that everything had like a greenish hue. You know, they were definitely like all about the lights.
Get those good LEDs.
The first thing that Flowers noticed, the bathroom was closed. So, you know, whatever. They start drinking. They figure, whatever, if we got to piss, we'll go outside. It's the fuck goes to the sump. Who
Piss
cares?
in the alley. Whatever.
Yeah, who cares, right? So they're having a good time. And Flowers is like the big dude. Like he's a pretty tall, you know, like I said, these guys are guardsmen from 2 theaters. Like they've been around. So the girls are taking a shining to them. And the girls are getting, you know, more friendly. And, you know, I mean, how do you think the guard, you know, he's getting a lap dance and Williamson. Why do I keep forgetting his name? Williamson is
A lot of guardsmen.
yeah. Williamson is, they're both, you know, basically enjoying their show. And Williamson is just obsessed with drink. Like that's basically his goal was to get hammered. And Flowers was to you know, nab himself some party time with a companion. So those girls on him, one of the dancers, and she's really like, you know, he's going home with her, you know.
Gotcha. He's going upstairs.
Yeah. So Williams gets up and says, all right, you know, he has to take a piss. Well, he can't go outside. The door's locked. The concierge is nowhere to be seen. So he figures, all right, fuck it. I'll just try to find one of these bathrooms. So he goes down one of the hallways, you know, the sump, right? That smell creeps in.
That smell. Yeah.
And he thinks, okay, I must be close to an exit, you know, because that smell. So he gets clear, you know, he comes down a hallway, turns down another hallway. He's, you know, it's getting stronger and stronger. Well, finally he finds, you know, a restroom door that's actually not locked. So he opens it and somebody had a field day because this place is covered in shit. It is filthy. It is pouring out of the toilet. And he basically is like holding back, throwing up, right? So he comes out and he goes, Jesus Christ. So he runs back into the main room. There's nobody in there, right? Flowers is gone. The girls are gone. The music is still going. Lights are still going. He's thinking to himself, what the hell is happening? So he runs around to the back room, right? Because there's like the stage, you know, obviously with the main stages. So he goes down to the back room. And he goes through, and it's a mirror building. So it's straight up. He goes through one door, and he's in the exact same building, but other side.
Flipped.
Yeah, it's flipped. You know, it's another stage area. And in the corner, he sees Flowers with this girl. So he thinks, oh shit, this might be like the VIP area. So he goes running down there, and he's like, hey, runs over, and he's like, hey, dude, hey, Flowers, we gotta go, man. And at that point, the woman pulls back, and Flowers is coughing. He's trying to speak. He can't. He's grabbing his throat. So Williams is thinking, oh shit, like, what do I do? So he starts grabbing him. He starts saying, hey. He starts seeing boils start popping up on his neck, right? And the girl is just standing there. And he's saying, well, hey, go get help. So she backs up. And as Flowers is choking, right, the lights go out.
Oh.
So, you go into regimental, training.
Right.
He grabs Flowers and starts booking it towards where he felt was the closest exit. So he books it past, gets into the main room where they first were, and Flowers collapses onto the floor. He can't carry him any further. Williams tries to get him up and gets him into a chair, right? The green lights come on.
Okay.
Right? So that's when he gets him up, he gets him into a chair. And Flowers at this point is convulsing. He's shaking. Williams is trying to hold him down, basically. Flowers' head arcs back, right? His jaw's open, his mouth opens, he's coughing, he's hacking, he's trying to breathe, he's trying to scream, and all of a sudden bubbles start coming out of his throat, right? So he's foaming at this point, and Williams has no idea what to do. So he backs up, and Flowers' jaw rips completely open down to his sternum as he's puking bile. All sorts of fucking nasty shit is coming out of this dude, and a fucking hand crawls out of his throat. Grabs on one side, grabs on the other side towards his face, and just rips him straight in half.
What the fuck?
Now, Thomas has no idea what's happening, right? He's never seen this before. They fought orcs. Right?
This is not orc
This
shit.
is not orc shit, right? The girls start coming out from the back room, but they're disgusting. They're covered in boils. They're leaking lesions. That smell is now everywhere. It's in his nose. It's in his. It's making him cry. His eyes are burning. He turns back over to Flowers, and he's just he's been severed into this pile of goo at this point. And there, standing there, is this little fucking green thing with horns. So he thinks to himself, "What could this be?" And it's a fucking Nurgling sitting there where his buddy once was. Now the girls are finally coming over to him. He's getting close to the Nurgling, sitting there laughing at him, right? So he makes a break for the door. 4 locker columns come shutting down, right? The whole place starts to shake. The room is an elevator. And it drops down deeper into the sump. All he can feel is it shaking. He's up against the blast doors. He's just sitting there shaking. Everything around him is shaking. It slams into what he hears to be liquid, right? Which he can only assume is just rotten pestilence outside, right? So he's basically found a gateway to a Nurgle infestation at this point. The lights finally go out, and the last thing he sees are these pox-walking women.
Pox prostitutes.
I've been
prostitutes, if you would.
I've been warned.
Yeah.
I've been warned.
And that's why you don't go brothling in the sump.
That's why you don't go to the sump, man.
Just don't go to the sump at all. It's the real reason.
last thing you want, man, is some chick spilling a Nurgling into your guts to have it rip open through your fucking sternum.
Yeah. That's very unpleasant.
I mean, but
What
commissars
if
do
the
not
Nurgling
recommend.
was Williams, and the woman was just a demonette depositing that into?
What?
I think that was what he just
think
said.
that's
Though.
kind
That
of
was
what was
his story.
implied.
Williams
Yeah.
is what?
It was Williams, right? He was the one that turned into the Nurgling.
No.
Nah, I ripped out, man.
Flowers.
Yeah. Flowers. He ripped out a
inside
flower.
him.
Oh, sorry. My
Oh,
flowers.
flowers,
I was
yeah.
mistaken then.
Flowers sprouted a Nurgling.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is an example of basically a lore perspective of
Grandpa Nurgle.
of a horror story and
Of a
it
horror
combining
story?
with a horror. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get it. I see what you did there.
A Hive City urban myth.
Yeah, urban legend of the Hive is don't go down near the sump. You find Nurgle. Yeah. And this is, it ties into, like as far as now, keep in mind, I just made that up completely as I went along. So I apologize if it wasn't great.
But it was fun.
That's good,
this is an example of basically like what storytelling in the horror setting of 40k, in which a good example I would say of like what Nurgle is about.
Nurgle is the god of pestilence, the god of sickness, the god of everything that Tom just described. Boils, sores, weeping wounds,
Smell.
Yeah. And,
if you can relate it to something in modern religion, I guess it would be a Golgothan.
Yeah, a little bit.
A Golgothan is the demon that sprouted from the bowels and basically like the putrefaction that happened from crucifying people.
Yeah.
Because as people were crucified, they would, eventually as they decomposed, all of their bowels and such would spill out onto the ground. And that's where the Golgothans would come
Didn't
from.
they poke them to make sure they were dead? And then they would leak.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and Golgothans could be composed of like insects. They could be composed of decaying matter, all sorts of stuff.
Oh, it's kind of like a rot monster in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the shit demon. So that's one of the things about Nurgle is that, it's very tempting to just say, okay, Nurgle is the grandfather of death. But in a certain light, Nurgle is actually the grandfather of life and death. Right. Everything that dies and decays sprouts new life forms, be it bacteria,
And
be
was
it
alive
insects.
at one point.
Yeah.
Hence the Nurgle coming out of Flower's
Oh,
body.
yeah.
Yep.
Being reborn. So one of the other really cool things to play around with in a Hive City setting, and we've actually talked a little bit about doing this, is the Plague of Unbelief. And the Plague of Unbelief is something that cropped up later in M41. It was Blessing of Nurgle, not a plague, but a Blessing of Nurgle, that basically turns people into your very classic Hollywood zombies. Playing around with the idea of the Plague of Unbelief hitting a Hive City, someplace where you have such a dense, packed amount of humanity. Tom's story dealt with two guys kind of descending in and becoming unwilling disciples. And this is the same thing, unwilling disciples, but this is just a rampant spread. A Hive City is not a place that you can quarantine. A Hive City is not a place you can shut down.
It's not a place you can really even get away from.
Yeah. It's, how do you quarantine parts of a Hive City? And you do it by, everything under mile 6. These are 12, 13 mile tall structures. So everything underneath mile 6 may be quarantined, but you know what? It only takes one person getting through, or one rat, or one nurgling, or one upper hiver smuggling out his favorite prostitute, and she's already been infected.
Yeah.
It's some cool stuff to play with. So yeah, guys, we will be back with some corn goodness, some Zinch goodness, and then we will finish up with some Slanish goodness right before we dip into the Dark Eldar and some other stuff. Again, you guys got a couple more episodes. We got 3 more episodes coming your way.
Yeah, if you do like this, let me know. Basically, I thought of the idea of telling a story that kind of encompasses. It would be an easy way to tell about the Chaos Gods, as in telling like a kind of
like
scary
urban
story.
legends.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love the idea, like setting the urban legend in
It's
the
in
hive. It's in our hive.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, that brings us to a close for our second Lorus Obscurus episode. We have a lot of fun with these, and we want to share more of these stories, and we want to share your stories. The best way to send us your ghost stories, your strange sightings, your cryptids, your creepypastas, or your scary lore is to email it to us. That way,
Dookies.
Spooky dookies.
That way we can
Drop a spooky dookie for us.
Oh, I like it. That's the thing now.
That's our subreddit.
That's our
Spooky
thing
Dookie.
now.
You subject it as spooky dookie.
So we know what we're opening.
So if you send us these emails, it's the best way for us because we can read it over. We can pull it directly into our show notes that way, and we can get it worked in. We love to hear from you guys, via Discord or through private messages. But at a certain point, email us those stories. It's the easiest way for us to kind of digest them and work them in. And we do want to share them. At a certain point, we're going to run out of spooky tales. We're going to need your spooky tales to help us out a little bit. So you can email those to us at underthehiveofmadness@gmail.com or jimdarkgaming@gmail.com. We make a habit of dropping little lore kernels in each of our episodes, bits and pieces and facts about all the things that make up Innsmouth Hive.
Little 40k kernel in her spooky dookie.
Yeah.
Little space peanut.
Little space peanut.
A little bit of corn. Why is the corn always still in it? I want to know.
Because corn is hard to digest.
So
That's all there is to it.
It's always good to have a little blood for the blood god.
40k kernel in that spooky
wow.
dookie.
No,
It is
if
never
you
good to
got-
have a little bit of blood for the blood god in
there's
there.
not supposed to be blood for the
You
blood
need to
god
go
there.
to the doctor if there's blood for the blood dog in there. Like
What,
blood,
nobody
Blood
else
for the
says
blood dookie.
blood dude.
No one else says blood in the poop. I thought that was a thing.
It's lubrication.
That's not
So
normal.
we, man, So we like to drop these little facts about Innsmouth Hive directly into our podcast episodes. This is our podcast specific lore. If you want to get deeper into the lore that we're building, and if you want to help us build some of that lore, you should think about joining us over on Discord.
Yes, please do. I am a huge advocate. I literally tell you guys this every episode. I am always the one to tell you this. Join the effing Discord, because it's seriously like the bigger it gets, the more we can do.
Yeah, the more we can interact with you, the more we can write stuff
together.
If you like the podcast and want to help us out in some other ways, please follow us on Spotify, like and review us on Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you find your podcasts and however else they are rated. Those likes and shares do help us. It boosts us up in the algorithm, gets more people like you guys, more like-minded people to see our show, experience what we have to offer, and to join our growing community. If you like what we're doing and you want to help support us, you can head on over to Patreon at patreon.com/underthehiveofmadness. We have some polls, some Ask Us Anythings, some art, and even some PDF rule sets we are working on to get shared with you through Patreon, plus a couple of video episodes that we are trying to get up and running. We are fighting a tech curve right now, but the more you guys help us out, the more great, amazing, specific content we can bring to you.
Together.
You can join our growing rank of four-armed rats. If you're looking for us in the wilds of social media, we have a link tree set up at linktree/underthehive. As always, the spellings and the links for everything I just mentioned is in our show notes.
You know how to spell?
I know, and that's why it's in the show notes. English is hard, yo. Well, Underhivers, there has been a 30% reduction in the screams and cackles. Not that we're sure of who is making what and which one means good and which one means bad, but Frank is flat out of his famous bolter powdered seasoned ratty chimneys. Our plasma is hot. Beast's cannon is up and cycled. Kevin has a couple of those extra hotshot eclipse at the ready. And Marky's power sledge has been cackling with the bluest of lightning for about 15 minutes. So it's our time to help Frank run through this gauntlet. Please,
ready to rock.
Please chant a few extra litanies to the four-armed emperor for us so we can get an extra helping of his blessings in the next couple hours.
Blessings meaning chimichangas, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.